The federal government is yet to say what it's going to do with more than 800 asylum seekers being held on Manus Island who are now in limbo after Papua New Guinea's Supreme Court ruled the detention centre is unconstitutional. The Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, has warned against becoming, quote, misty-eyed over the people being held, although Australia's Human Rights Commissioner, Gillian Triggs, says the situation could end up in international legal dispute if Australia doesn't meet its obligations. Joining me live from Brisbane is the Immigration Minister, Peter Dutton. Minister, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Lee.
I'm wondering if we can just start with the first principles question. These asylum seekers and refugees on Manus Island, ultimately who has responsibility for them, Australia or Papua New Guinea?
Papua New Guinea, and that's the arrangement that was arrived at under the Rudd government. So there was initially an arrangement with Julia Gillard and then sealed by Kevin Rudd. And under that arrangement, people are assessed if they're found to be owed protection. That is, if they're found to be refugees, then they settle in PNG. The Australian government provides financial support, as we do in Nauru, as part of a regional arrangement to stop the boats. And we have had a very successful program, and obviously we don't want vacancies being refilled. If
they're entirely Papua New Guinea's responsibility, then why do we give money for the detention centre?
Because we have responsibility within the region, and people in Indonesia, 14,000 of whom want to get on boats now and come to Australia tomorrow, and need to be sent a very clear message, and that is that the approach of this government is not going to change. We are not going to allow people to settle in our country who seek to come here by boat. We've been absolutely consistent in relation to that message, and the same message applies to those who are on Manus and Nauru now.
If we can stick to this question about responsibility for a moment, the PNG High Commissioner to Australia says the asylum seekers are within Australia's responsibility.
Well, the MOU's fairly clear, and that's understood by both sides, and the PNG government has to deal with the Supreme Court finding. They had already started to address what they thought may have been some of the concerns of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is binding, obviously, on the PNG government, but not the Australian government. In the same way.
So basically, what you're saying is this is PNG's problem.
Well, I'm saying that we're prepared to work with our friends in PNG to resolve this issue. Like all Australians, I want to see people off Manus and off Nauru as quickly as possible, but we've been very clear that under no circumstance will they be coming to our country.
So whose responsibility is it to find a third country for these people? Is it Australia, for the people who are legitimate refugees? Is it Australia's or Papua New Guinea's?
Well, Australia's been working with PNG, and we've been working with other countries within the region to see whether or not there might be third country settlement options available to people. There are many hundreds of people that have left Manus already to go and live back in their countries of origin or who have gone otherwise from the detention centre there. And there have been a number of people now, several hundred, who have been offered the opportunity to move into PNG society, and that offer remains open to them.